Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you a truth that changed my life. You don't get a great life all at once. You get it one day at a time. But here's the catch. Not every day is created equal. Some days you win. Some days you lose. And some days you don't even show up. Now the question is, how do you win every day? You start with discipline. Discipline is the difference between a life of regret and a life of reward. Discipline says, I don't feel like it, but I'll do it anyway. Discipline is setting the alarm clock not because you like waking up early, but because you like what it produces. It's saying yes to the future and no to the moment. Now, people often ask me, Jim, what if I don't feel motivated in the morning? Let me tell you, motivation is a mood. Discipline is a muscle. Train it, use it, strengthen it, and you'll find yourself winning days you once would have lost. Here's another key: be intentional. See, most people don't live their days, they survive them. They float from morning to night, responding instead of creating. But winners, they design their day before it begins. You've got to pre-decide what matters, pre-decide what gets your time, pre-decide what you'll do when distractions come, because they will come. You can't leave your day to chance. If you don't run the day will run you, and usually straight into a wall. Now let's talk about the real opponent. It's not your boss. It's not the economy. It's not the competition. The real enemy is the little voice inside that whispers excuses. It says, you've worked hard. Take it easy. It says, you'll start tomorrow. It says, one day off won't hurt. But here's the truth. If you give in to that voice today, it gets louder tomorrow. Every time you silence it, you get stronger. Every time you win that inner battle, you build a habit, and that habit starts shaping your destiny. You don't need to have it all figured out to win today. You don't need to win big. You just need to win on purpose. That might mean reading 10 pages when you don't feel like reading, going to the gym when your body says rest, making the call, writing the plan, taking the walk, saying the prayer. Small wins add up, one brick at a time. That's how you build something that lasts. So here's your challenge. Win today, not someday, not next Monday, today, and then win tomorrow and the next. Stack those wins, and you won't just change your day, you'll change your life. Remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And what better time to start winning than today? The power of daily intentional action is one of the most transformative forces in a person's life. It is the foundation of consistent progress, the silent architect of success, and the hidden driver behind long-term achievement. Intentional action means that what you do each day is not by accident, but by design. It means choosing your thoughts, your habits, and your behaviors with clarity and purpose, not simply reacting to what the day throws at you. Most people drift through life, caught in the tides of distraction and routine, not realizing that the small actions they take each day are shaping their future more than any single event ever could. Daily intentional action is about showing up with a plan. It means deciding in advance what your priorities are, and then aligning your actions to reflect those priorities. You can't leave progress to chance and expect excellence. Success doesn't come from randomness or wishful thinking. It comes from intentional repetition of the right actions. When your day is not intentional, it gets filled with other people's agendas, meaningless distractions, and unproductive habits. But when you approach each day with intention, you gain control of your time, your focus, and your energy. Doing the right thing one time doesn't change much, but doing the right thing daily with purpose creates a compound effect that becomes nearly unstoppable. Think of it like planting seeds in a garden. One seed might not do much, but if you plant one every single day, over time you'll grow a forest. The actions may seem small in the moment: treating for 30 minutes, writing your goals, exercising, making that one important call. but over time they multiply into something significant. What you repeatedly do becomes what you inevitably become. Daily intentional action is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. People often overestimate what they can do in a short period of time and underestimate what they can do consistently over months and years. A burst of inspiration might get you started, but it's intentional action that keeps you moving forward. Motivation is useful, but it's fleeting. What matters more is having a system, a routine, and a commitment to purposeful activity. The world doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution, and execution is not a one-time effort. It's a repeated decision to follow through on what matters. There's a difference between being busy and being intentional. You can be busy all day and accomplish nothing meaningful. Intentional action means you're not just doing things. You're doing the right things for the right reasons at the right time. It's not about having a packed schedule. It's about aligning your actions with your values and goals. It's about asking yourself, what am I doing today that brings me closer to who I want to be? Every day offers the chance to close the gap between who you are and who you want to become. But that gap doesn't close on its own. It takes deliberate effort. It's not enough to hope for better days. You must create them, one action at a time. Daily intentional action turns the invisible into the visible. It transforms dreams into plans and plans into progress. It's the bridge between potential and performance. People wait for the perfect time to act, not realizing that action itself creates clarity. Waiting rarely changes things, doing does. When you act intentionally every day, even when you don't feel like it, you begin to build momentum. Momentum makes hard things easier. It lowers resistance and increases confidence. The more you act with intention, the more natural it becomes to follow through, and the stronger your belief grows in your own ability to shape your life. Intentional action also guards against regret. It ensures that you are not just living passively, but actively shaping your future. It creates a sense of purpose and fulfillment that doesn't come from mere activity, but from meaningful progress. When you look back at the end of the day and see that your actions aligned with your values, there is a satisfaction that no external reward can replace. Every successful person in any field understands the value of daily intentional action. They don't leave progress to moods or motivation. They build routines, create habits, and hold themselves accountable for showing up every day. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, is this the right thing to do? They remove emotion from the equation and stay committed to the process. You don't need to be perfect to win. You just need to be consistent. You need to show up, do the work, and stay on course. There will be days when you're tired, discouraged, or distracted, but intentional action says, I'll still show up. That's what separates the amateurs from the professionals. It's not about talent, luck, or timing. It's about discipline, focus, and persistence. Success is not accidental. It's intentional. It's built on quiet decisions no one sees long before the results become visible. It's created in the hours you spend learning when you could be scrolling. It's earned in the mornings you rise early when sleep seems sweeter. It's solidified in the moments you keep going when quitting feels easier. These moments are not glamorous, but they are powerful. Daily intentional action requires clarity. You must know what you want, why you want it, and what steps will take you there. Without clarity, your actions lack direction. Without direction, you get motion without progress. You end the day exhausted but unfulfilled. But with clarity, even small actions have great meaning. You stop wandering and start walking with purpose. It also requires discipline. There will always be distractions, interruptions, and temptations to veer off course. But discipline says, I choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. It says, I don't need to feel ready. I just need to begin. Discipline is what turns intentions into action, and action into outcomes. And most importantly, daily intentional action requires belief. belief that what you do today matters, belief that small efforts can lead to big changes, belief that your future is not a matter of fate, but of focused effort. Every day becomes a brick in the structure of your life, and the more intentional you are about the bricks you lay, the stronger your foundation becomes. You don't have to change everything overnight. You just need to change the way you approach each day. Begin with purpose, act with clarity, finish with integrity. That is the path to transformation. That is the secret to progress. And that is the power of daily intentional action. Discipline is the daily key that unlocks progress, consistency, and success. It is the difference between potential and achievement, between dreams and reality. Many people have goals, desires, and intentions, but without discipline, those things remain in the realm of ideas. Discipline is what moves you from hoping to doing, from planning to executing. It is the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Every day presents choices, and discipline is what ensures those choices move you forward instead of keeping you stuck. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you develop. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The first time you choose to wake up early, skip the distraction, follow through on your plan, it's hard. But the second time gets easier, and soon it becomes who you are. You're no longer relying on emotion or motivation. You're relying on character, structure, and self-respect. Discipline creates momentum, and momentum builds habits that are nearly unshakable. When you're disciplined, you don't need to negotiate with yourself every morning about whether you're going to do the right thing. You've already decided. Every person faces the temptation to give in to comfort, laziness, or excuses. But discipline stands as the gatekeeper of your potential. It tells you that you are in control, not your feelings, and in that control there is freedom, freedom to rise above average, freedom to build something lasting, freedom to say no to what doesn't serve you, and yes to what shapes you. While the undisciplined mind seeks the path of least resistance, discipline seeks the path of most purpose, and purpose, not comfort, is where fulfillment lies. Discipline is not about harshness or perfection. It's not about being rigid or robotic. It's about alignment. It's about aligning your actions with your goals and your behavior with your values. It's recognizing that every day you're either moving toward your vision or away from it. There's no neutral ground. Discipline allows you to live intentionally, not reactively. It puts you in the driver's seat where you're not being pulled by circumstance, but directed by principle. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. What seems difficult in the beginning eventually becomes second nature. The disciplined writer eventually becomes a published author. The disciplined saver becomes financially secure. The disciplined student becomes the expert. And the disciplined leader becomes the example others follow. The rewards may not show up immediately, but discipline guarantees they will arrive. It works in the background, silently producing results while others are still talking about what they plan to do. Discipline protects your time. It tells you what deserves your attention and what doesn't. It keeps you from chasing every distraction, every shiny object, and every impulse. It keeps you grounded. It helps you say no without guilt and yes without doubt. When you operate with discipline, you have clarity. You know what matters and you let go of what doesn't. That clarity makes you more productive, more focused, and more fulfilled. Discipline is the builder of confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself, to believe that when you say you'll do something, you will. That inner trust is powerful. It gives you peace in the storm, consistency in chaos, and strength when the path is long. Confidence built on discipline is real. It's not about pretending. It's about proving daily that you are capable of doing what is necessary, no matter how small or large the task. Even when things don't go your way, discipline gives you stability. It keeps you anchored when motivation disappears and circumstances become difficult. When you've trained yourself to show up and do the work no matter what, you're no longer a slave to how you feel. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You create progress in the moment you're given. And that's the power of daily discipline. It removes the need for external force. You become the force. The truth is, everyone pays a price. The undisciplined pay it in regret, missed opportunity, and stagnation. The disciplined pay it in effort, focus, and sacrifice. But the rewards of discipline far outweigh the cost. It gives you a life of growth, contribution, and impact. A life you're proud of. One built not by chance, but by choice. Discipline brings structure, structure brings order, order brings clarity, clarity brings results. It's a chain reaction that starts with a simple decision to do what's right instead of what's easy, to rise early instead of sleep in, to prepare instead of wing it, to keep going when it would be easier to stop. Every one of those decisions adds up. They form your character, your habits, and eventually your outcomes. The challenge with discipline is that its rewards are not always immediate. It's easy to skip one day and tell yourself it doesn't matter. But one day becomes two. Two becomes a week. And soon, the standard you once held is gone. Discipline requires vigilance. It requires that you stay awake, stay alert, and stay hungry. It's not about being perfect. It's about being committed, about getting back on track quickly when you fall off. The disciplined person doesn't avoid failure. They recover faster. Discipline also simplifies your life. When you're clear about your non-negotiables, what time you wake up, what you eat, how you spend your hours, you eliminate decision fatigue. You don't waste energy wondering what to do, you act. That simplicity is powerful. It gives you mental space to be creative, strategic, and peaceful. Chaos doesn't thrive in disciplined environments. Order does, and order leads to results. Daily discipline doesn't require dramatic action. It's often quiet, unseen, and repetitive, but it's that repetition that builds mastery. No one becomes excellent by accident. They become excellent by making disciplined choices over and over again until excellence becomes normal, until average no longer satisfies, until progress becomes part of your identity. Discipline is not a punishment, it's a path that leads to freedom, to excellence, to a life well lived. It may be uncomfortable at times, but it's always worth it. It demands effort, but it produces power. It creates space for you to rise above distraction, to focus on what matters most, and to take control of your own growth. It allows you to live with purpose instead of pressure. Each day is an opportunity to practice discipline. Each decision is a vote for the person you're becoming. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be consistent, to choose growth over ease, commitment over comfort, and action over excuse. When you do, discipline becomes more than a behavior. It becomes a part of who you are, and that identity, built one decision at a time, becomes the daily key that unlocks your best life.